So it continues to be an awful time. Many exciting political developments, like white supremacists. I mean, already white supremacists, but like confirmed ones that run fake news organizations. Things are going great. But like you said, Gwendolyn, nothing's going to turn out okay if we don't act to turn it out okay. And it really, already I've seen my parents and my family and people who aren't around activists. Like, being at UW, I was around a lot of people who were like politically involved, and like now a bunch of relatives and friends who are kind of tucked away and don't necessarily come up against that every day. Aren't necessarily like seeing protests happening on their streets. They're getting excited and they're getting ramped up and they're getting ready to fight. And so that's at least exciting. And like you, I can't say his name, not with the title. I can say them separately, but it like also makes me ill to try and do that. And again, you're right, we can't let it be normal. So we're gonna keep being outraged and disoriented together. We gotta stick together. But to update you on my life, nothing eventful. The pacing has been weird. Like, I've gone home and had like a very chill Thanksgiving, and things have been like really busy with work, and things are about to stop being busy with work, but in the meantime I'm in that zone where I'm ready to like put out my feelers and become a person in the world again, except that I actually still have to do all of these things before I get to that point. And I guess the main thing I wanted to talk about today was biorhythms. My dad has this chart that he got from a doctor way back in the day, probably like the 70s, that has you put in your birthday, and then it's supposed to chart over the course of your life these different cycles. And so there are cycles for just like different aspects of your life. And I think there is a version that's medical, so it's talking about like different systems in your body and how they're working on each other over time, and maybe times when they're intersecting and times when they're gonna like throw you off kilter. And then there are other ones that are like, I don't know where they get this information, but they're like, this is a time of economic prosperity and romantic turmoil. I can only assume it's the source of really vague but like holistic astrology forecasts. Anyways, my whole life, when we've had times when like you're stubbing your toe a lot, or you're getting scrapes, or you're just feeling low energy, my dad has talked about like, oh, I'll go get the biorhythms card, with the idea that you look up where you are and it's probably you're at a low point and your body's just not working with you. And right now I'm at a low point for biorhythms. Let's see. I'm going to take you on a tour. As you can see, my socks are covered in holes. Stubbing my toe constantly. I've also been stepping on this buckle on my backpack a lot. After I moved in, I started getting all these bug bites. And I'm hopeful that they're not bed bugs. I'm pretty sure they're spiders because their population has risen with the spider population. I mean the population of bug bites on me. But they'd basically gone away for a while. And then 4 bug bites in one night. One of them is on my ear! What are they doing in there? I've been watching a lot of Billy on the Street, so I'm getting like a particular yell cadence. I'm not sleeping well, so even though I'm drinking a lot of sleepy time tea, I'm also drinking a lot of drip coffee, which is not good for me. I can't handle it. And then I'm getting up late in the mornings and going out late on my runs and coming back late and missing buses and maybe not bringing my lunch. As if my feet weren't beat up already, I also have plantar fasciitis, which means that this part of my foot is in terrible pain much of the time, especially when I'm sitting down. Yep, limping. It doesn't feel good when I first start walking. But there are solutions. This is a boot I got to wear at night to help alleviate my plantar fasciitis. Like so. See, it holds my foot at a 90-degree angle to keep this stretched. The funny thing is, before in my life, I'd gotten plantar fasciitis, but it was always when I was already asleep. My foot would go like that under the covers, and then it would make my plantar seize up, and I have to get up and walk around, and it would help instead of hurt. I've also been working on a bug bite solution. Essential oils, tea tree, lavender, and peppermint, with some soap to emulsify them and some warm water, also to make them more emulsive. I spray down my entire bed and my clothes and carpet and vacuum a lot, and that has seemed to help actually. Lavender also helps with sleep. So does taking vitamins and staying healthy, in theory. Still waiting on that one. By the way, I'm not actually reading the collected works of Charles Dickens. I'm reading Rise and Fall of the Third Reich, which is a history of Nazi Germany, but since the only graphic element is not a big swastika, I didn't want to read it on the bus and have people think that I was like reading a Nazi manual. I forgot to say it, but I also got hit with bird poop yesterday. I was just heading out of my office to go get a cup of coffee, and as soon as I got out from under the eaves at Pike Place, this little thrush or something hit me with some poop. I had to go in the employee kitchen and wash it off. And I guess they gave me an excuse to take a warm shower when I got home yesterday. I guess, partly I want to share the weird phenomenon of suddenly feeling like your body and all of the ways it comes into contact with the world are falling apart. But I also wanted to share all the small ways of dealing with it, of little remedies, little ways of taking care.